All right, wrestling fanatics, gather round. What happens when the most dominant ring general of this generation, a man who's etched his name in history with every devastating chop, finally stands across the squared circle from the most destructive beast incarnate WWE has ever unleashed? We're talking Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, and let me tell you, this isn't just a dream match. It's a collision of eras, a thunderous war for absolute dominance, and frankly, the one bout a generation of fans is absolutely begging to see. Today, we're going to break it all down, real talk, tale of the tape style, and then we're going to simulate exactly how this titanic showdown would play out. So stick with us, because by the time that final bell rings, you'll know precisely who walks out with their hand raised and a new chapter written in wrestling lore. Look, Gunther's 666-day Intercontinental Championship reign didn't just redefine what a mid-card title could be, it elevated it to main event status, making every defense feel like a championship bout. It was a masterclass in consistent, brutal dominance. On the other side, Brock Lesnar's resume, it practically is the main event. We're talking WrestleMania headliner after WrestleMania headliner, an NCAA heavyweight championship, a UFC world title. The man's a legitimate combat sports icon. These two forces of nature have brushed shoulders once, remember? Royal Rumble 2023. That 12-minute stare down that felt like an eternity, that moment that absolutely broke the internet and sent the wrestling world into a frenzy, all without a single punch thrown. But we've never gotten the singles match. Now, the timing? It couldn't be more perfect. Gunther now proudly carries the World Heavyweight Championship, solidifying his place at the absolute top of the mountain. Lesnar, meanwhile, hasn't been seen since SummerSlam 2023, leaving a void, a hungry beast waiting to be unleashed. The stakes aren't just monumental, they're astronomical. The crowd wouldn't just lose their minds, they'd probably tear the roof off the building. This isn't just a match, it's a legacy-defining moment waiting to happen. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, shall we? On one side, we've got Gunther, standing tall at 6'4", weighing in at a rock-solid 250 lbs, a relatively youthful 38 years young. His career win rate sits around a respectable 62% across over 2,100 matches, a testament to his consistent presence and relentless work ethic. His signature weapon, those rib-shattering, chest-caving, knife-edge chops that leave opponents gasping for air and sporting crimson welts for days. Then, there's Brock Lesnar, a hair shorter at 6'3", but carrying a dense 286 lbs of pure muscle and explosive power. At 47 years young, he might be the elder statesman, but don't let that fool you. His WWE win rate is a staggering 86%, a clear indicator of his unparalleled dominance whenever he steps into the ring. And his signature weapon? The F5, that terrifying spinning slam that has literally flattened legends twice his size, leaving them staring at the lights. When we talk durability, the edge, surprisingly, might just go to Gunther. This is a man who's logged 40-plus minute epics on back-to-back nights, absorbing punishment and dishing it out with unwavering resolve. He's a marathon runner in a sprint match. But for sheer explosiveness, Lesnar, hands down. He deadlifts 500-pound men into a German suplex like it's a warm-up, a feat of freakish strength that defies logic. So, what are we looking at here? It's technique versus raw brutality, unyielding stamina versus lightning-quick snap, the stiff, unyielding European style versus the pure, pedigree-driven Minnesota wrestling machine. It's a clash of fundamental philosophies, and honestly, you've got to pick your poison. Let's trace the ring general's relentless march to the top, shall we? It all began in Germany's WXW, where he didn't just compete. He collected every trophy, every championship, establishing himself as a force to be reckoned with across the European circuit. Then came his jump to NXT UK, where he embarked on a record-breaking 870-day title reign, defending against a murderer's row of talent, including Finn Balor, Ilya Dragunov, and more, proving his mettle on a global stage. When he finally got the main roster call-up, he didn't waste a second. He instantly chopped the chest off Sheamus in what became an undeniable Match of the Year candidate, announcing his arrival with a statement. But it was his Intercontinental Championship reign that truly cemented his legacy. For an astonishing 666 days, 22 brutal defenses, he transformed a belt that many fans had honestly forgotten about into the night's absolute must-see main event. He didn't just hold the title, he elevated it, making every single challenger look like $1,000,000 even in defeat. Then, in 2024, he conquered the King of the Ring tournament, beating 5 formidable opponents in a grueling 9-day gauntlet. And at SummerSlam 2024, he powerbombed his way to the World Heavyweight Championship, becoming a 2-time world champion at just 38 years old. His career follows an almost predictable, yet terrifyingly effective script. His opponent hits him, his opponent chops him, and then, inevitably, his opponent wakes up red-chested, battered, and defeated. Brock Lesnar, for all his dominance, has truly never faced anyone this consistently, methodically, and relentlessly destructive. Gunther isn't just winning, he's dismantling. Now, let's talk about the Beast. Brock Lesnar's journey to superstardom is unlike anyone else's. He was an NCAA heavyweight champion in 2000, a legitimate amateur wrestling phenom. Then he jumped to WWE and, in record time, beat The Rock for the undisputed championship at just 25 years old, a feat that still stands as the youngest ever. But Brock's ambition didn't stop there. He left WWE, ventured into the brutal world of mixed martial arts, and became the UFC heavyweight champion, conquering another legitimate combat sport. When he came back to WWE, he wasn't just a wrestler. He was a force of nature, a special attraction. He didn't just win, he squashed legends. John Cena, The Undertaker, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, whoever WWE put in front of him, Brock devoured. It's the Beast box office rule. If the paycheck cashes, the ring gets demolished, and usually, so does his opponent. His last stretch in WWE? 3 straight main events, including a War Games match where he casually suplexed a 300-pound partner into the unforgiving steel. He's been off TV for a year now, a deliberate absence that only amplifies his mystique. But trust me, WWE keeps his music on ice for a reason. Because when that glass shatters, when that iconic intro hits, arenas don't just pop. They absolutely detonate. He's not just a superstar. He's an event, a phenomenon, and a walking, breathing threat to anyone who dares step in his path. All right, picture this. It's the Royal Rumble 2025. The arena is absolutely buzzing, the crowd is on its feet, and the countdown hits 0. Entry number 27, Brock Lesnar. The place explodes. He clears the ring with his usual ferocity, a one-man wrecking crew. Then, the next countdown begins. 10, 9, 8, and when it hits 0, the music blasts. Entry number 28. Gunther! The crowd erupts again, a different kind of roar, a mixture of anticipation and sheer disbelief. Lesnar stops, his eyes locking onto Gunther. Gunther, unfazed, steps into the ring. They square off, dead center, the air thick with tension. Every single phone in the building is up, recording. 10-second stare down. The crowd is deafening. Then Gunther unleashes it. A chop. A single, thunderous chop heard round the world, echoing through the arena. Brock flinches, a rare display of vulnerability. But then, a wicked grin spreads across his face. He charges, lifts Gunther for an F5, but in a display of incredible agility, Gunther flips out, lands on his feet, and with a powerful shove, dumps Brock Lesnar over the top rope. The Beast Incarnate is officially eliminated. Brock lands on the floor, stunned, his face a mask of shock and disbelief that screams, "This isn't over!" The very next night on Raw, Paul Heyman, ever the eloquent advocate, cuts a scathing promo, dismissing Gunther as merely a secondary champion, a pretender to Brock's throne. Gunther, cool as ice, grabs a mic and responds with chilling conviction. If I'm secondary, Paul, then tell your beast to come take this belt from me. The challenge is laid down. The contract signing is chaos. Tables splintered, security guards tossed aside like rag dolls. The match is set. WrestleMania 41, champion versus champion. The Beast versus the General. It's the biggest, most brutal pure power match WWE could possibly book, a dream made manifest. The bell rings, and the anticipation is absolutely palpable. They lock up, a classic collar and elbow tie-up, but Brock, with his superior amateur wrestling background, instantly secures a waist lock. He hoists Gunther for a German suplex, but Gunther, remarkably, lands on his feet, a gasp rippling through the crowd. The ring general quickly answers with a chop that echoes through the arena. Brock's chest immediately welted. They trade haymakers, a brutal exchange of power. Brock, regaining his composure, hits 3 rolling Germans, one right after the other, driving Gunther into the mat with sickening thuds. But Gunther somehow pops up, fueled by sheer defiance, and clotheslines Brock Lesnar to the floor. Now here's the spot. Gunther, in a rare aerial gamble, launches himself for a suicide dive. But Brock, with his uncanny athleticism, catches him midair and delivers a devastating F5 right onto the announce table. The table shatters, splinters flying, and both men crash to the floor. Doctors rush out, almost stopping the match, but Gunther, through sheer grit, barely beats the count at 9, rolling back into the ring, his body screaming in agony. For the next 10 minutes, Brock absolutely dominates, a relentless suplex city assault, throwing Gunther around like a rag doll. He goes for the pin, but Gunther, miraculously, gets a foot on the rope at the last possible second, breaking the 3 count. But Gunther isn't done. He fires back, a chop block to Brock's knee, momentarily slowing the Beast. He then hoists Brock for a powerbomb, not once, but twice, each one a near fall that has the crowd on their feet, roaring with every count. Gunther sees an opening, climbs to the top for a splash, but Brock, with a burst of adrenaline, is up like a shot, catching him mid-air for another F5. Gunther, however, counters in mid-air, twisting into a rear choke. Brock, fading fast, deadlifts Gunther into a spine buster, breaking the hold but still can't get the 3 count. The final sequence. Gunther, seeing the opening, lands a thunderous chop to the back of Brock's neck, dropping him. He follows with a folding press cover, hooking the leg, but Brock kicks out at a heart-stopping 2.9. Gunther, frustrated but determined, calls for one last decisive lariat. He charges, but Brock, sensing it, ducks under. Second F5 connects. Gunther, impossibly, flips out of it, landing behind Brock and hits a jumping knee. The Beast is dazed. Gunther follows up with a colossal lariat, spinning Lesnar inside out, and then stacks him high for the pin. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings. A new legend is written. The ring general has slayed the Beast. That 2.9 kickout after the second F5. That was the moment. The commentators are screaming, selling it like a miracle, and honestly, it felt like one. From that precise second, the stamina shifted. Gunther's legendary cardio edge, honed over countless grueling matches, truly kicked in. Brock's explosive bursts, while still powerful, started to dip, his gas tank showing signs of emptying. The story, from that point on, wrote itself. The cumulative effect of Gunther's chops, the relentless assault on Brock's body, the knee buckling just a bit more with each impact. It was one shot too many, one moment of resilience too much for the Beast to overcome. Gunther outlasted the storm, weathering the initial onslaught, and then slowly but surely turned the tide through sheer, brutal attrition. It wasn't about one knockout blow, it was about 1,000 cuts that eventually brought the Colossus down. Could it have gone either way? Absolutely. Let's be real. One mistimed lariat, one slight opening, and Brock could have countered into a third F5, and I guarantee you nobody in that arena would have complained. That's the magic of Brock Lesnar. He's always one move away from victory. But Gunther's current momentum, his unparalleled cardio, and his 18-month peak as a world champion, where he's proven he can go the distance with anyone, those factors undeniably swing the percentages in his favor. In a one-off winner-take-all scenario like this, I'm putting my money on Gunther to survive the initial storm and stand tall, say, 60% of the time. This win, by the way, doesn't hurt Brock Lesnar, not one bit. Instead, it immortalizes Gunther as the man who, through sheer force of will and an endless supply of chops, chopped down the most feared name in combat sports history. It's a passing of the torch, a coronation, and a moment that solidifies Gunther's place as an undisputed, all-time great. All right, Wrestling Nation, your turn. After all that, who do you honestly think leaves the ring with his hand raised, the relentless Austrian chopping machine or the unstoppable Minnesota Monster? Drop your winner, your predicted match time, and your ultimate dream stipulation in the comments below. And hey, if you want WWE to actually book this monumental clash at next year's Mania, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dive dream matches every single week. Let's make some noise. Gunther versus Brock Lesnar isn't just fantasy for fantasy's sake. It's that rare, perfect dream bout that makes every single metric sense. The titles, the contrasting styles, the compelling backstory, the undeniable box office appeal, and that goosebump-inducing electric atmosphere that money simply cannot buy. We've rolled the tape, we've counted the suplexes, and we've simulated the absolute chaos. Now we hand the microphone over to you. Sound off, debate, share your thoughts, and together, let's will this clash of titans into a very real, very brutal reality.